Turn it up. I guess I learned it from my granddad. I like the shirts with the little pearl sounds. I'm dying, don't you pay what's up to me. They're burying me in blue jeans.
I tell you what, folks, about a year ago, I didn't know nothing about hunting. I go to work, come home, eat, watch a little TV show, and go to sleep. Then I start getting bored with the monogamy with the everyday life. So I started picking up these freaking hobbies. Bought me a motorcycle. Bought me a couple guitars. That didn't go too well. And then my buddy came to me one day and he said, "Hey Don, how about we do some hunting?" Now, he said it's gonna be cold, but it's gonna be eventually enough to get. I told him, I said, all right. He told me, all right, you're gonna need a bow. I didn't know anything about bows, but apparently the first part of deer season here in Oklahoma, you only can use a bow to hunt with, right? So they give you more time to hunt. So that's why Rec can't get the bow. Now there's three kind of main bows. There's the crossbow, which is what I got, and this guy, but he has a compact bow, and then the other one he has a traditional bow. So I recommend getting the crossbow personally for the start. It's a lot easier, just like a rifle, and that's what I went with. I did a lot of research. Mine's got about a 70-pound pull on it. Now with that, I didn't know. There's a lot of laws and stuff with that. First of all, don't ride around with it, you know, in the ready position. That's against the law. I did that for about a month, but I'm glad I didn't get caught on that. Really, that was wrong. Let's see. Also, you got to make sure your state don't have a limit, you know, on how many pounds you can have on that thing. So I got a good one. I'll put one up for you. Anyways, so my buddy tells me I got some private land, you know, up north, and I didn't know there's a couple different ways of hunting, and that's like the main thing. You got to figure out the location and where you're gonna hunt at. You know, private lands, they're a little bit more lax on laws. You know, you still got your overall laws for hunting as far as, you know, hunting season. Here in Oklahoma, for instance, you can hunt all year round with hogs. And we just came up with a law now on private land you can even hunt at nighttime. So that's good. And I don't think you need a hunting license to hunt on private land for hogs. So with public land, and I have a magazine here. Let me put it up for you, and I'll put another description. It's let's see here. It's the Oklahoma Hunting Guide. It's right here. That's very important stuff. Very important stuff. Lets you know the locations where you can hunt at, but it also lets you know the rules and the fees. Some of these public lands, you gotta pay an extra fee to hunt there, and I mean that's good because the land needs to be managed. And if you're not paying, then you know how's the government going to get their money to manage, you know, that land and to keep that land for us to hunt on? So I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that. So those are the two different, you know, places you can really hunt, and sometimes it's really hard to find private land unless you know someone. You can also go to a hunting guide, and it just average from what kind of animal you're trying to harvest, and the location and the time of year. But that can range anywhere from $100 and up. You know, I've seen them go up to like $3,500, you know, for a water buffalo. So it really depends. But they got cabins and they're a little bit more experienced too. So we got a couple in Oklahoma I'm gonna try out. We got here at Lexington gun range. Finally made it here. This is my 223. So when I first got this firearm, we had this old scope here, and what happened is the freaking scope was maxed out. So people recommend like getting the Lumafull and putting it on the front there, you know, to adjust my sights. But what I did was, you know, it put too much stress on it. So what I did was I bought these new mounts or whatever from Walmart. It only run me about $3, and I bore sighted it. That's why I had that laser I brought. Bore sighted it at 25, and you know, I put it about 3 or 4 inches below, because see, when that round comes out, it's gonna go up, and then it's gonna come back down. So when I did it at 25, I put my mark, you know, a little bit higher up. So, you know, that way for around 100 yards, it should give me somewhere, you know, around target. And I think that's what that bore sight is for, you know, get you on paper first, so you won't, you know, use a lot of rounds. I mean, I think at the end result, you still gonna have to use some rounds, but you won't have to use as many. So that's what we're gonna do today. See if we actually got on point here at this range, and before we go out there and shoot. Ain't nothing like seeing your mark and you can't hit it because your weapon wasn't ready. So, all right, stay tuned. All right, so if you never shot a rifle before, there's always a couple fundamentals like we talked about earlier, as far as keeping your finger off the firearm till you're ready to shoot, keeping the weapon pointed in a safe direction. Never point the weapon at anything you do not intend to kill, and always treat the weapon as it's loaded. All right, those are my basic rules for touching a rifle. Now when you shoot, there's a thing as far as always shoot on the pause. Never put your finger too far in the trigger and not too far out. That makes you pull left or pull right. So you have those two, and then you want to go steady to the back. You want to make sure you don't jerk your trigger. So those are three more rules that you need to follow. So we'll cut, and we'll go see where we hit our target at. All right, so the first one looks really good. You know, I probably was too high at this yardage. More like right on, right there. So this probably was my first shot, because it should be lower, you know, with this size paper. But people say you tend to pull to the left, and that's what I was talking about. Your finger's too far in, it's going to pull to the left. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. Being that both shots are right here, though, we can go ahead and do a couple clicks over to the right, see if we can get it on target. All right, so if you look closer down here, you have a R and a 0. Now, when I was in the Corps, we used the iron sight for the M16, and if I recall, it was like everything was opposite. If you want to go left, you turk it right. You want to go down, you turk it up. So the rifle, it's kind of still the same as far as the up and down, the elevation, because when you have your scope like this and you have your rifle, if you raise your rifle up like that, let's just say you raise your front side of your rifle up like that, right? But that stays down. So you're looking through that scope, and even though you raise that front part of that rifle up, imagine when you're looking through that scope and you're bringing that scope on your target, my rifle, let's say my bottom hand here, my rifle is actually going low. You understand what I'm saying? So you raise the front sight up, and it actually makes the rifle go down. And that's why I was saying earlier, some of them boys, you know, they take a piece of Lumafull and they put it right through here when they max out the rifle. And it happens a lot because a lot of times people get the scopes and it's just don't go right with the rifle. You know, the back is higher, the front is lower. Of course, I always recommend getting the right equipment to do that. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this thing about 3 clicks to the right. 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna see if we can get a little closer to that silhouette. This is a close distance. So as far as that left and right should be right on. Now that elevation is going to be different because that's not the elevation I want, you know. But we're going to see if we get this left and right. So stand by. All right, so if you can see right here, I'm within the area. I'm right on. I mean, it's not freaking perfect like I wanted it. That could be human error, but hey, that's a freaking dead hog. I tell you that, because you know you probably got about this room to about maybe right there anyways, anywhere on that spot on the front part of the a deer, and you know, that buck he down. So a dead hog or a dead buck there. So I guess while we're out of here, we'll talk about a little bit about this 40 here. Let me see where I can start. Basic shooting principles. Same stuff to what I talked about earlier with any firearm still apply as far as keeping your finger off trigger, pointing the weapon in a safe direction, never pointing the weapon at anything you don't intend to shoot. Always treat each weapon as it's loaded. That'll help a lot of mistakes from happening. But we're gonna talk about a couple things real quick. All right, I took a couple firearm safety courses, so I'm sure some of this will vary, you know, but you can correct me and feel free to leave comments. All right, so let's talk about stance. So class I took in Florida, I believe it's called Shoot and Move. They teach to shoot this way, okay? They say because the vests give them a larger target, you know, and they're protected. Now, I was taught to shoot this way, you know, because it gives them a smaller target. So I guess if you have a vest on, you may want to do this. I call this the cowboy style. I don't like it. Look at that. I don't like that, you know. I like this way because when, you know, that rear foot, you know, you still have that freaking balance. When you grip your firearm, you basically want to keep that thumb pointed in that direction. And when you cup it, you keep the other thumb pointed in that direction. The back, it's like a little stabilizer, all right? So we can get a little couple rounds down range, just for the heck of it, you know? So, same stuff apply, guys. You know, make sure center mass, sorry. And slowly pull it to the back. Come back. Slowly to the back. Come back. All right. Simple as that, guys. We're here at an old lake here. And we haven't had the water here for a while, but as you see, there's a couple water pounds. I personally like hunting on the outside of this stuff because, I mean, I have a theory, just like you and I need water. I think all animals need water just as well. So they're going to gather around, you know, the closest water source there is, and we haven't had water here in Oklahoma for a little bit now. So nighttime come, I think a lot of animals will be coming here around this location, you know, unless you're by a huge lake or something, or if it's just raining, that'd be different. So we're gonna comb the outskirts of these tree lines here and see if we can find us something. A lot of places, especially on public land, you want to make sure you have 30% orange. Of course, I know right now I don't have 30% orange. Wasn't able to give me another vest, so we only have one vest. Speaking of that, but that depends on where you at. Deer season, I definitely, and there's no exceptions, 30% orange. First time we went hunting, we was going to our blind, and for you novice hunters, blind is basically a camouflage tent that you hunt off of, so you know animals don't see you. You can also make them out of brushes, which is, I mean, that's natural, and that's a natural habitat, so that wouldn't spook them at all. And my buddy, when we first went hunting, that guy was moving in fast, really fast. I mean, he's definitely gonna cover some distance, that's why. And he, you know, I'm not in shape obviously, but definitely being in shape will help. You know, keeping up with him was really hard, but he knew the terrain. Me, I take a different approach anyways. I like to walk in really slow, somewhat quiet. That way you don't spook anything or jump anything. Now, I can't tell you how many bucks and deer. Hold on. I can't tell you how many bucks and deer we jumped last season. We jumped a lot. I'll tell you that much right now. So definitely want to go in quiet. Take a couple steps. Stop. Blast around. I have a theory that the woods talk to you if you listen. if you listen to Woodstock, you hear these birds, you know, singing and stuff. Basically talking about because we're there. I sat under a tree one time and I swear I had a squirrel barking at me. Whole entire time. Whole time he's barking at me right above my head. Daggone thing almost pissed on my butt. So you definitely want to be aware of your surroundings and act like you belong there. Alright, so we're gonna walk in here a little quiet. We've been walking now about an hour and really haven't seen anything. Just looking for scrape marks. That's basically when the freaking buck starts scraping the side of the tree to get rid of that, I think it's called velvet, that they actually shed. And we didn't see anything on that, and I was looking for some hogs, but haven't really saw too much sign of that either. So Lexington so far is a hit and miss, but a lot of times it's a waiting game. It really is, and I think that's where that bond come in at, which the buddy you're hunting with, because you're freaking sitting there and you're waiting. If you look around here, the area that we're at now, even though we're getting ready to try to make a little lunch, this would be a perfect area. We're a little bit low. We got natural cover. I mean, we got beautiful natural cover right here. So this to me would be considered a natural blind. I mean, that probably on the best blind. I mean, besides the tree stand, because you can see more area when you're higher, you know. But you know, tree stands take a little bit of work. I mean, hunting takes work. You know, to be successful. That's what I was talking about as far as being prepared for what you're about to get into. And that's why it's best to, you know, come on a scout. Even though it's not deer season, you know, I'm learning about the area. I'm learning about certain spots and stuff that, you know, that I'll be comfortable in. And you know, this is the spot I might actually come to. So just go ahead and always plan. Every hunt has its own challenge. I don't care. Every terrain is different. The weather's different. Every hunt has its own challenge. So right now we're going to get ready to get some fire started. I was taught the best wood to use for fire is dead wood. So, you know, especially when it's not wet. So we can go ahead, and I got some dead wood I found on the ground, and you hear how that crumbled. Start with small pieces first. I like to dig a little hole. You see a little hole there? I like to dig a little hole for mine, kind of contain the fire. If not, you can use some rocks, stuff like that. But we're gonna build just a small fire here. Not nothing too big. You don't want to, you know, mess around and burn down freaking public land. You know, that'd be crazy. So, hey, talk to you guys in a bit. So, my theory is respect the land. You know, the land provides us with a lot of stuff. So, as you see, we're covering up what we left behind. Make sure we got all our tracks up and cleaning up. Fire pit is pretty smooth. We'll step on this a little bit and go back down there to the water and see if we can find some hog. That's what I'm really after. I need some hog. I need some hog meat. So I can't give up the hunt.
I guess I learned it from my granddad. I like the shirts with the little pearl snaps. I'd die in boots if it was up to me. They'd bury me in blue jeans. Couldn't be a cowboy, I'm 100 years late. I
think that wraps up today. It's about 9 o'clock at night now. We got a lot of that meat sitting in the garage there on ice, and we're gonna let that drain, and we'll work on, you know, wrapping that. Might put that on there so you can see. Have it clear for the freezer, cutting it up, getting the bacon, pork chops, got a lot more ribs, a little roast. So
bury me in blue jeans.
father, I'm a son, I'm a dad, I'm a thankful one for everything I have. I'm not gonna regret the past.